Imagine waking up one day with the power to see the invisible threads that connect every part of our universe, every thought, every dream, encapsulated within the dance of particles too small to see. Now, what if I told you that science is on the brink of understanding how your very consciousness could be a fundamental part of this cosmic ballet? Welcome to the edge of science and philosophy, where we explore not just who, but what we are in the grand scheme of existence. The nature of consciousness is a deep secret at the center of the universe, where every particle, wave, and quantum event is closely linked. Have you ever stopped to think about how deeply you know yourself, asking not only who you are, but also what you are at your core? These questions aren't just intellectual thoughts. They lead to one of the most exciting and difficult journeys people have ever begun. For a moment, let's say that the answers to the most important questions about our lives are found where quantum mechanics and the mind meet. This is not the world of science fiction. It is an area that scientists, philosophers, and other thinkers are exploring more and more. Our understanding of reality is still in its childhood, according to the idea that quantum physics and consciousness are linked. It makes us think of a universe that is much bigger and more alive than we ever thought possible. Why does this matter, though? Just why does the mysterious way the quantum world works matter to us in our everyday lives? Life can make a lot of us feel cut off, not just from the people around us, but also from ourselves and the universe as a whole. Have you ever felt like you were the only thing in the universe, floating around in space with no one else? Or maybe you've had moments of coincidence that you can't explain, moments that seem too connected to be random, making you question the very nature of reality. Both the strange and the mysterious things that happen to you might be pieces of a bigger puzzle. They want us to look deeper, to question not only the nature of our own thoughts, but also the consciousness that holds us all together. What we are about to do is not just an intellectual exercise. It is a trip into the very core of what it means to be living and aware. We'll look at how quantum physics, which is full of doubt, entanglement, and the strange behavior of particles at the smallest scales, might help us understand what consciousness is all about. Our ideas about time, space, and truth will be tested by this exploration. It will ask us to think about the idea that our minds are more than just complex biological machines, and that there is more to consciousness than what our brains can hold. But why investigate this link between consciousness and quantum physics? Because it gives us a new way to think about the world and our place in it, not just answers to intellectual questions. It offers a change from a life of being split up and separated to one that is whole and linked. It says that a better knowledge of the quantum structure of the universe could help heal the feelings of separation and disconnection that plague modern life. This podcast invites you to go on a trip of discovery. This journey will explore the secrets of quantum physics, the mysteries of consciousness, and the places where these three topics meet. Along the way, we'll face questions that have baffled people for hundreds of years. We might discover that the answers are not in the stars or the old books, but in the very core of who we are. The significance of quantum consciousness for our understanding of free will, the nature of reality, and the interconnection of all things will be explored as we study the underlying layers of reality. We will talk about how this knowledge can change not only the way we think, but also the way we live. What impact does a quantum view of consciousness have on our relationships, creativity, problems, and joys? In what ways can it help us be more mindful, heal, and grow as people? This trip is not for people who are easily scared. Being willing to question strongly held beliefs and consider options that might seem like they belong in a dream world at first glance is a must. But the benefits are like no other for those who are brave enough to go into the unknown. The quantum mind view gives us a plan for living a life with more awareness, meaning, and relationship. It is a promise of a new world where the full potential of human awareness is achieved, and the constructed walls that separate us from each other and the universe fall apart. The quantum foundations of consciousness, the mind outside of the brain, the secrets revealed by quantum thinking, and the practical ramifications of this information for our lives and the world at large will all be discussed in the following parts. Each part builds on the one before it, making a web of theory, proof, and meaning that is both very complicated and very easy to understand. At the end of this trip, there is a picture of the future. In that future, the secrets of consciousness are no longer secrets, and the quantum mind is not just an idea. It is real. I want you to start this journey with an open mind and a heart that is eager to learn. Let's start this journey into the quantum mind together, where we can find out the secrets of consciousness and the hidden potential that we all have. Chapter 1 is called The Quantum Fabric of Consciousness, and it talks about how quantum physics and consciousness are connected. Investigate how quantum physics provides a fresh perspective on consciousness, pushing traditional ideas and presenting the idea of connection. The quantum realm is at the center of every atom, hidden beneath the molecular structures and cellular complexity. It is a world so different from our everyday lives that it makes us question how we see the world. Here, in the dance of particles that appear and disappear, where chances take the place of guarantees and where sight itself changes the result, are the first lines that link the worlds of quantum physics and consciousness, which at first glance seem to be very different. Even though it seems illogical at first, this intersection gives us an intriguing look into how we can understand consciousness, not just as a result of brain processes, but as a fundamental part of the universe. Quantum physics, which has its roots in the early 1900s, changed the way scientists thought about the universe's building blocks. Newtonian physics, which is based on a set of rules and an organized universe, couldn't explain the strange things that happen at the atomic and subatomic levels. Particles behaved like both waves and particles, living in a state of superposition until they were seen. According to this idea, which is called wave-particle duality, reality at the quantum level is not set in stone until it is observed. The first fascinating analogy to consciousness can be found here. Consciousness is an active observation of how we experience the world in a certain way, just as the quantum state relies on observation. The famous double-slit experiment shows this connection even more. When electrons are shot through a double slit, they make a pattern on a monitor screen that looks like waves moving through both slits at the same time. But when they are seen, the electrons act like particles. They only go through one hole and not both. There are deep questions about the observer's role in creating reality that this experiment brings up. Our sense of truth is also shaped by consciousness. Our views, thoughts, and plans shape how we experience the world. This points to an active universe in which the viewer and the watched are inextricably linked. When you take into account the idea of entanglement, this connection between quantum physics and consciousness becomes even stronger. Quantum entanglement happens when two particles are linked in a way that makes the state of one quickly change the state of the other, even if they are very far apart. This quick contact goes against what we normally think about space and time, and it suggests that the universe is somehow linked or united. This suggests the possibility of links that go beyond physical distance in the setting of consciousness, similar to telepathy, coincidence, or group consciousness. These kinds of things don't make sense in the real world, but they have a strange connection in the quantum world. Quantum entanglement's concept of non-locality also questions the idea of different, separated things in favor of a whole, linked universe. This concept can be used as a metaphor for human consciousness, suggesting that minds are not separate entities but rather parts of a bigger, linked network of awareness. Understanding not only the nature of human awareness but also the basic nature of reality itself is very different from looking at things from this point of view. By looking at consciousness through the lens of quantum physics, we are encouraged to think about the idea that consciousness may be as basic to the universe as spacetimes and matter. Some thinkers and scientists say that consciousness is not something that happens automatically in our brains, but is instead a basic trait of the universe that is built into the quantum field that supports everything. This very different point of view says that the universe is not a cold, mindless machine, but a living, linked web of awareness, in which mind and matter are deeply related. When quantum physics and awareness meet, it makes us think about what truth is, who we are, and where we fit in the universe. It seems to say that the secrets of awareness and the quantum world are not two different questions, but rather two sides of the same coin. By looking into this point where two ideas meet, we start a trip that not only shows us how the mind and the universe work on the inside, but also gives us a new way to think about the deep link between the two. As we learn more about the quantum structure of awareness, we are forced to question what it means to live. The effects of this research are very broad and reach to the core of who we are and the world we live in. It makes us think about a world where the lines between the physical and the spiritual are fuzzy, and where the possibility of a deeper, more linked life is not just a science fiction idea, but a part of the quantum universe itself. When you look deeper into the connection between consciousness and quantum physics, you find a world where the very foundations of reality are called into question, and the nature of consciousness is shown in new ways. In this quantum world, awareness is not just a spectator. It is an active player that is deeply sewn into the fabric of reality. This point of view goes against what most people think and asks us to think again about how we think about awareness, not as something that happens as a result of complicated bodily processes, but as something that is part of the universe itself. The idea of awareness in a quantum setting makes us think very differently about what our place is in the universe. In the past, awareness was seen as a result of brain activity, which is a materialistic view. Quantum physics, on the other hand, makes us think about the idea that mind might be able to change or even create the physical world. The idea behind this comes from the idea that observing a quantum system can change its state. Then the question comes up, could awareness change the result of quantum events by observing them? This idea says that awareness is a basic force that can connect with the physical world in ways that go beyond the laws of physics. The spectator effect is the idea that the results of a quantum experiment can be different based on whether or not the experiment is being watched. This idea is used to study awareness in the quantum world. The way that observation and reality interact with each other suggests that the universe responds to awareness, and that both the watcher and the watched are involved in a cosmic dance. This way of thinking says that consciousness is not just something that happens in the brain, but is a part of the whole universe that both affects and is affected by the quantum field. Also, the idea of a quantum awareness goes against the idea of reality as it is. In a quantum universe, reality is not set in stone. Instead, it is uncertain and exists in a state of possibilities until it is noticed. This shifting of reality is similar to how our minds work, where our perceptions affect our experiences. It makes me think of a universe where the inner world of awareness and the outer world of physical reality are not two separate places, but rather parts of the same cloth that are woven together. This link between everything makes it possible to ask deep philosophical and scientific questions about what life is and how the mind shapes our knowledge of the universe. When you look at awareness through the lens of quantum mechanics, you can see effects that go beyond the intellectual to the practical and the spiritual. It gives us a fresh way to look at things like insight, creativity, and even magical events. With quantum consciousness, these parts of human experience that have been pushed to the edges of science research can be looked at again. As soon as we admit that awareness can exist outside of the brain and interact with the quantum field, we can learn more about these strange events, seeing them not as strange but as expressions of the basic nature of reality. The mind-body problem needs to be looked at again, now that awareness is part of the quantum world. What does it mean for our understanding of health, healing, and the power of the mind if consciousness can have an impact on the physical world at the quantum level? This point of view not only connects science and faith, but it also gives us useful tips on how to improve our health by practicing mindful awareness, meditation, and other methods that tap into the power of consciousness. The quantum view of consciousness tells us that we are not just observers of the universe but co-creators who are actively involved in how things happen. Being aware of this gives me a sense of duty and power. Consciousness and the quantum world are intertwined, forcing us to reevaluate how we live, how we treat others, and how we affect the planet. It makes us more aware so that we know we have the power to change not only our own lives, but also the very structure of reality. We start on a trip that goes beyond the limits of conventional science and faith as we learn more about the secrets of consciousness in the quantum world. This study paints a picture of a universe full of possibilities, where the puzzles of quantum physics and the wonders of consciousness come together to help us learn more about ourselves and the universe. This trip promises to not only shed light on the structure of reality, but also change how we think about what it means to be aware in a universe that is all linked. Part 2. The mind is more than the brain. One of the most interesting and puzzling things about quantum physics is the concept of non-locality. It is like a thread that runs through the whole universe. It goes against what we normally think about space and time, which suggests that reality is much more linked than we thought. When looked at through the lens of consciousness, this principle has huge implications for how we think about the mind and the incredible ties that connect us to everything in the universe. In quantum physics, non-locality is the idea that particles that have ever interacted can become linked in a way that makes the state of one particle instantly affect the state of another particle, even if they are far apart. This instant link happens outside of space and time as we know them, showing a level of connectivity that goes beyond the way we usually think about the universe. The Einstein-Podolsky-Rosen paradox and Bell's theorem have both given theory and practical support for this idea. They both question the very roots of classical physics and make us think about what reality is. Beyond the atomic and subatomic levels, non-locality has ramifications for the very core of human experience and consciousness. Couldn't the same be said of consciousness if the fundamental workings of the universe are based on connection concepts that transcend space and time? This question leads to an interesting way of looking into the mind and how it relates to the rest of the universe. This means that our individual mind may not be as separate from and limited to our bodies as we have usually thought. Instead, it could be a part of a much bigger network of consciousness that is linked to everything else and can't be divided by space or time. People of all ages and countries have talked about experiences like telepathy, times of deep coincidence, and feelings of being one with the universe that support this point of view. The scientific community often doesn't believe in these events because they are subjective and hard to study in the real world. But quantum non-locality gives them a new meaning. They imply that the mind may be able to reach far beyond the brain and be a part of an all-pervasive field of consciousness. Our understanding of identity and the self is also tested when we examine consciousness through the lens of non-locality. The lines between self and other, between one's consciousness and the consciousness of another, become hazy if our thoughts are naturally tied to a huge, interconnected network that spans place and time. This changes everything about how we think about empathy, perception, and the human experience as a whole. It means that the difference we think exists between us and the world around us is really just a dream. Instead, we are all connected by the strings of consciousness, which form an ongoing weave of life. One more thing is that the concept of non-locality can help us understand how things like faraway healing, the power of purpose, and the effectiveness of prayer and meditation work. Scientists don't always believe in these practices, but they might work because of the non-local links in the field of consciousness. A new model for understanding the nature of reality itself is provided by incorporating non-locality into our understanding of consciousness, which also broadens our idea of the mind. It leads to a universe where everything is deeply linked, and the difference between mind and matter, or subject and object, is only a surface barrier in a much deeper and more unified existence. We are asked to think about our place in the universe as we learn more about the mysteries of non-locality in the mind. We are asked to see ourselves not as separate things, but as important parts of a huge, connected universe where our thoughts, feelings, and actions are sewn into the very fabric of reality. This new idea opens up new ways for individuals and groups to grow. It suggests that by learning more about how consciousness is not limited to one place, we can make the world a better place for everyone. Entanglement of quantum. Quantum entanglement, which Albert Einstein famously called spooky action at a distance, is one of the most important ideas in quantum physics and makes us question even the most fundamental ideas about how the universe works. When two electrons become entangled, the state of one instantly affects the state of the other, even if they are very far apart. This goes against what space and time normally mean. Scientists used to think this idea was impossible, but now they've tested it and found it to be true. It still confuses and interests them. However, quantum entanglement has effects that go far beyond the tiny world of photons and particles. They provide deep understandings of the nature of consciousness and the basic interdependence of everything. At its core, quantum entanglement says that there is no such thing as separate in the universe. Everything is inextricably linked to everything else. This interdependence, which is a basic property of the quantum world, offers a powerful model for comprehending the intricate web of connections that make up human life and consciousness. Consciousness is not just a brain-based event. It is also a component of a vast linked network of awareness that extends throughout the entire universe. When we look at quantum entanglement in terms of consciousness, it makes us think about the idea that our thoughts, feelings, and goals might not just be our own, but are part of a bigger consciousness. Numerous spiritual and philosophical groups around the world have long held the view that there is a global mind or common consciousness that unites all living things. Quantum entanglement offers a scientific theory that backs up these old ideas, suggesting that the deep sense of connection and oneness that some people feel may be based in the very nature of reality. Our view of consciousness is profoundly and multifacetedly affected by this connection. Consciousness may be a fundamental aspect of the universe, similar to space, time, and matter, according to this theory, which questions the conventional materialism view that consciousness only comes from physical processes in the brain. According to this point of view, consciousness, like entanglement, goes beyond physical limits, allowing for a level of contact and link that resists explanation. Quantum entanglement and connection also have huge effects on our ability to understand how things like telepathy, precognition, and the power of group purpose work. These strange events, which aren't usually studied by scientists, could be signs of how consciousness is entangled. They would provide proof of a deeply connected universe in which people's minds can have small but significant effects on each other in the physical world. How we handle problems of empathy, ethics, and environmental care is also affected by this linked view of consciousness. Realizing that all living things are fundamentally linked can promote a sense of global duty and kindness, leading to actions that improve the health of all beings. It implies that the decisions we make and the goals we hold have an impact on the world in ways we might not fully understand, resonating throughout the fabric of consciousness. We are asked to deepen our understanding of both ourselves and the universe by investigating the links between quantum entanglement and consciousness. Many people tell us to get past the false ideas that separate us and see how deeply we are linked to each other and to the universe. This understanding could change the way we see the world, how we relate to each other, and how we deal with the problems we face as a species. It could lead to a more peaceful and united life. As we learn more about quantum entanglement and connection, we are not only learning about the universe's puzzles, but also about the deep unity that holds everything together. We are being asked to reevaluate our place in the universe and to accept that consciousness is fundamentally linked. Unlocking the quantum mysteries of consciousness in Chapter 3. In quantum mechanics, the spectator changes the way we think about reality in a big way. It combines the areas of observation and creation in ways that question the basic ideas of traditional physics. Particles in the quantum world are in a state of potentiality, which means that their qualities are not known until they are observed. The wave function is a mathematical picture of all the possible states of a system. This measurement turns the wave function into a single result. Based on this event, it seems that active observation is not just taking in information, but also shaping what is being watched. Consciousness itself may play a fundamental role in the structure of reality. According to this has significant implications for consciousness. From the point of view of quantum physics, the observer effect says that reality is not set but changes based on how the viewer interacts with the quantum system. The way we see and make things at the quantum level is similar to how we become conscious, where the way we see the world around us shapes how we experience reality. It seems to imply that consciousness is not just a result of physical processes, but rather an essential component of the fabric of the universe and a partner in how reality unfolds. This viewpoint agrees with the participation anthropic principle, which says that without a watcher, the universe is unfinished and that consciousness is a must for the universe as we know it to exist. This concept changes consciousness's role from a silent spectator to a co-creator of reality. It means that our thoughts, feelings, and actions have a direct effect on the world. The role of the spectator in quantum physics has psychological effects on free will and the idea that everything is predetermined. Consciousness may be able to direct the course of physical reality if the act of observing can affect the results of quantum events. This changes how we think about free will. It's not just the freedom to do whatever you want, it's also the freedom to change the quantum options that make up the real world. The witness effect also questions the usual divide between subject and object, or between the spectator and the watched. At its core, it seems to say that the separation between the observer's inner world and the outside world is just a dream. The fact that borders are becoming less clear has big effects on how we think about identity, self, and how everything is linked. It asks us to think about a model of consciousness that isn't limited to individual brains, but is instead a part of a bigger, more connected whole. Consciousness' role in quantum physics opens up new ways to study reality and our place in it. It means that consciousness is not just a bystander, it is also an active creator of reality, changing the world around us through our thoughts, feelings, and actions. Seeing things from this point of view forces us to rethink how we know ourselves and how we relate to the universe. It also gives us deep insights into how consciousness and reality are linked. Real life, looking into the observer's role in consciousness, also affects how we live our daily lives. It means that our thoughts, feelings, and plans are not just reactions to the world, they are also things that make our life what it is. Realizing this gives us the power to take responsibility for how we see things and to see the creative possibilities in our consciousness. Being more aware of how our thoughts and actions affect the world around us makes us live a more mindful and conscious life. Finally, the observer's part in quantum physics gives a completely new perspective on the nature of reality and consciousness. It forces us to rethink our place in the universe, not as outside viewers, but as vital parts of everything that exists. This new way of looking at things could change how we think about ourselves, our relationships, and our place in the universe. The puzzle of life, where consciousness and reality are closely linked, can be explored more fully by accepting the connection of all things. The quantum leap in understanding consciousness is a turning point in the study of the mind and reality. It's where the secrets of quantum physics and the mystery of consciousness come together to show a deep truth about our lives. Consciousness and the quantum world are basically intertwined, as has been hinted at throughout our trip. Consciousness is a basic component of the universe, just like space, time, and matter, according to this discovery, which goes against the common materialistic outlook. This quantum leap depends on realizing that the strange and confusing ideas in quantum physics, like non-locality, entanglement, superposition, and the role of the observer, are not just true for tiny particles, but for everything in the universe. These ideas imply that, at its heart, the universe is not a collection of distinct things interacting in space and time, but rather a single field of potentiality, where consciousness is a crucial factor in determining what is real. If you believe that consciousness is the most important thing in the universe, you have to rethink everything you think you know about how the universe works. It means that the universe is not a cold, uncaring machine, but rather a living, aware thing, and that our consciousness is just a reflection of the consciousness that already exists in the universe. This point of view gives us new ways to think about what reality is, because it suggests that the world we see is only one part of a much bigger, more complicated picture of life. Our understanding of the nature of reality is significantly impacted by this connection between consciousness and the quantum weave of the universe. It says that the idea that the mind and the body are separate is just an illusion. The mind and the body are really just two sides of the same reality that are always reacting and changing each other. This point of view gives us a new way to think about things that have puzzled scientists and thinkers for a long time, like the placebo effect, the power of purpose, and the feelings of transcendence and unity that mystics and meditators have had over the years. The quantum leap in understanding consciousness also changes the emphasis from a fixed universe, where things happen in a straight line of cause and effect, to a participative universe where there is endless room for creation and change. It gives us strength to understand that our ideas, beliefs, and goals can have a big effect on the world around us, not in a magical or mysterious way, but because everything is fundamentally linked to everything else. The duty to use the power of our consciousness in healthy, helpful ways also comes with this realization. Knowing that our inner states, our thoughts, feelings, and intentions, can affect the outside world makes us want to develop traits like sensitivity, awareness, and care. Our group consciousness has the power to shape the future of our planet, so it asks us to interact with the world and with each other in a more aware and thoughtful way. It's not just a change in theory that the quantum leap in understanding consciousness is. It's a changing idea that could change how we see ourselves, our relationships, and our place in the universe. Consciousness is not just a brain event. It is the very stuff of life, according to this view. From this point of view, we should be open to the wonder and promise of our consciousness and try out new ways of being and interacting that show how deeply all living things are linked. As we move forward, let us remember the new things we learned in this quantum leap and use them to help us understand the mysteries of consciousness and the quantum mind. Quantum mindfulness and well-being in Chapter 4. Quantum thought for personal change entails using quantum concepts to improve one's awareness, creativity, and general well-being. This method is different from other self-help methods because it uses ideas from quantum physics to help people have a huge change in how they see and feel things. By accepting the ideas of connection, potentiality, and the role of the observer in the quantum framework, people can grow and understand themselves in new ways. Quantum thinking is based on understanding that reality is flexible and linked, which is shown by quantum physics. This point of view goes against the usual straight way of thinking that limits our abilities and makes us see the world in a limited way. Quantum thinking tells us to see our lives and selves as part of a constantly changing web of existence. The things we think, feel, and do have a big effect on our reality. This new understanding gives us more ways to change and grow, letting us live our lives with more creativity and flexibility. The idea of potentiality is one of the most important parts of quantum thinking. In the quantum world, particles are in a state called superposition, which means they have more than one possible state at the same time until they are noticed. In a similar way, our lives are always filled with an endless number of options. Quantum thought tells us to connect with this field of possibilities and helps us imagine and create the lives we want. We can collapse the wave function of our lives into the world we want to experience by being clear about our plans and making sure that our thoughts, feelings, and actions are all in line with our goals. Also, the observer's part in quantum physics shows how powerful perception and purpose are in changing how we see the world. Observing something can change its state, and the same is true for our thoughts and actions. They can change the way our lives go. In order to become aware viewers of our thoughts, feelings, and experiences, quantum thinking encourages a mindful approach to life. We can live our lives with more direction and purpose by becoming more aware and picking what we focus on. We can also turn problems into chances to grow. Quantum thought also promotes a whole-person view of health, understanding that the mind, body, and spirit are all linked. From this point of view, our feelings and thoughts can affect our health, and health can affect our thoughts and feelings. We can use the power of our minds to heal, lower stress, and improve our general health by combining techniques like meditation, visualization, and positive statements. Quantum thought also encourages us to be creative and come up with new ideas by letting us accept uncertainty and explore the unknown. Quantum particles do best when they are unknown until they are noticed. In the same way, we can be creative and get ideas when we accept the unknown and leave our comfort zones. This way of thinking encourages us to try new things, be brave, and see mistakes not as losses, but as opportunities to learn. A new method of personal growth based on the ideas of quantum physics is offered by quantum thinking for personal transformation. We can make big changes in our lives and the world around us by accepting that everything is linked, that there is an endless field of possibilities, and that purpose and perception have power. Quantum thought gives us the tools to get past limiting ideas, explore our creative potential, and handle life's challenges with more ease and strength. The ability to heal from a quantum viewpoint is a revolutionary method for improving mental health, lowering stress, and providing overall health. We can experience a deeper and more linked way of healing when we use the ideas of quantum physics to help us understand health and wellness. This quantum viewpoint changes our focus from a purely economic view of health that focuses on the physical body to a more complete view that includes the mind, spirit, and how everything in us is linked. The mind-body link, a concept that has been studied in many healing practices but is given new meaning in the context of quantum physics, is at the heart of this quantum viewpoint. Mind and body are connected, which means that our feelings, thoughts, and beliefs can affect our health in a direct way. In this view, healing is more than just getting rid of symptoms. It also involves changing the thought and feeling habits that cause illness. In quantum physics, the idea of non-locality says that particles can instantly change the states of each other over very long distances. This idea can help us understand how our inner states can affect our health and well-being. Since everything is linked, having good thoughts and feelings can help heal both the individual and the group mind. We can use the power of purpose to change our health on a quantum level through practices like visualization, meditation, and positive mantras. These practices can help bring about balance, unity, and well-being. In addition, the quantum view questions the common belief that health is fixed and instead suggests that our health is affected by a range of possible outcomes. By taking a quantum perspective, we understand that we are not helpless slaves of our genes or situations, but rather active creators of our health and reality. This gives us the power to take care of our health and look into alternative treatment methods that fit with the quantum view of possibility and connection. The healing power of a quantum viewpoint can also be felt deeply in the area of stress relief. A lot of the time, stress happens when we feel cut off from our true selves and the universe. We can feel less alone and anxious by accepting the quantum ideas of connection and the observer effect. This will help us develop a sense of togetherness and purpose. Quantum meditation, which focuses on feeling how everything is linked, is one technique that can help you get rid of stress and feel deeply calm and relaxed. New understandings of consciousness and its function in healing are provided by the quantum viewpoint. It says that we can change our physical world by connecting our consciousness with health, happiness, and good things happening. This is consistent with the idea of quantum healing, which says that when we match our consciousness with the state we want to be in, major, quick changes in health can happen. Quantum healing takes into account the fact that awareness can go beyond space and time, which means that it can heal in ways that go against what most doctors think is possible. A new layer of health that includes the mind, body, and spirit is made possible by adopting a quantum viewpoint on healing. It asks us to look into how everything about us and the universe is linked, and to use the power of our ideas, feelings, and wishes to help others heal. This method promotes a complete view of health, where healing is seen as a path of becoming more in tune with our true selves and the basic way that all living things are linked. We can go beyond conventional limits and realize our full potential for health, well-being, and change by opening ourselves up to the healing power of a quantum viewpoint. Chapter 5. Exploring Inner Space and the Universe Within It. The study of microcosm and macrocosm in the context of quantum mechanics gives us deep insights into the nature of reality. It suggests that the huge universe outside us and the complex world inside us are like mirror images of each other. Quantum physics principles strongly back this point of view, which has its roots in many academic and spiritual systems. It says that the mind and consciousness are made up of the same patterns, structures, and rules that can be seen in the universe. This shows that there is a basic connection between the viewer and the watched, or between the inner self and the universe. Fractal geometry is the idea that similar patterns appear at increasing smaller or bigger sizes. This idea is at the heart of this research. This idea comes from quantum physics and says that the universe is made up of self-similar patterns that repeat at every level, from the tiniest subatomic particles to the biggest galaxies. This thought fits with the old Hermetic principle, as above, so below, which means that people believe that the small world, like a person, and the big world, like the universe, are linked and mirror images of each other. The idea of tangling sheds more light on this way that microcosm and macrocosm are like mirror images of each other. The human mind and consciousness are also entangled with the universe, just as entangled particles stay united over long distances, showing a deep-seated connection that goes beyond physical space. Thoughts, feelings, and goals are not separate things. They are all linked to the bigger picture of reality and effect, and are affected by the dance of energy and matter in space. In quantum physics, the spectator effect says that the act of observing changes the thing that is being watched. This is similar to how our perceptions change how we experience reality. This makes me think that both the universe and the mind are active in nature, co-creating reality through a complex dance of purpose, experience, and observation. This point of view disagrees with the idea of a passive, objective universe. Instead, it suggests that reality is a dynamic interaction between the observer's inner world and the observed world. The idea of quantum consciousness is related to this idea of the human mind reflecting the universe. Some ideas say that consciousness comes from quantum processes happening in the brain. This means that the mind works according to the same quantum rules that control the universe. There seems to be a strong link between how we think, feel, and experience consciousness and the basic nature of reality. This makes it hard to tell the difference between the material and the spiritual, as well as between the physical and the philosophical. Using quantum physics to look at the microcosm and the macrocosm changes the way we think about our place in the universe. It makes me think that we are not just bystanders in the play of the universe, but active parts of a huge, linked whole. Realizing this gives you a sense of unity and connection with everything, which helps you see life in a way that goes beyond the perceived difference between yourself and others, between mind and matter, and between people and the universe. Microcosm and macrocosm are studied in the context of quantum mechanics. This shows a universe where the lines between the inner world of the mind and the outer expanse of the universe are fuzzy and linked. The key to solving the puzzles of the universe may lie within the confines of our own thoughts, according to this understanding, which compels us to re-evaluate our ideas about identity, consciousness, and reality. We can create a stronger sense of unity, meaning, and connection in the universe by accepting how deeply we are linked to everything else. An interesting blend of traditional meditative techniques and the most recent discoveries in quantum physics, quantum meditation, and inner exploration provide a singular path to increase consciousness and self-awareness. Quantum theory's ideas of connection, potentiality, and the observer effect are used in this way of meditating to help people have deep feelings of unity and wider states of awareness. Quantum meditation lets people explore the inner cosmos of their thoughts and connect with the deeper aspects of reality that quantum physics has revealed. The idea of connectivity, which holds that everything in the universe, including our own consciousness, is deeply linked, is at the heart of quantum meditation. Focusing on how everything is linked during meditation can help people feel deeply connected to everything. This feeling is like the non-local state of the quantum field, where particles stay linked over very long distances, going beyond the normal limits of space and time. Quantum meditation helps people get past the idea that they are different and experience a state of oneness with the universe. The study of potentiality is another important part of quantum meditation. In quantum physics, particles are in a state called superposition, which means they can be many things at once until they are noticed. Quantum meditation allows people to connect with their own consciousness, which is an area of endless options. People who meditate can explore the infinite potential of their thoughts and find new ways to think, perceive, and be by entering a state of meditation that is free from rigid standards and predetermined results. Quantum meditation depends heavily on the witness effect, a fundamental tenet of quantum physics. According to this theory, the act of observing can change how quantum events turn out. This suggests that we can change our inner world by paying mindful attention to our thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Quantum meditation makes you more aware of the present moment, which gives you the power to take charge of your mental and emotional states. Quantum meditation also uses mental methods based on quantum theories to help you learn more about yourself. Practitioners might picture themselves as part of the quantum field, where physical limits melt away and they merge with the energy that flows through everything. A greater understanding of the self as an essential component of the universe can be fostered by this practice, which can also reveal insights about the nature of consciousness and reality. Quantum meditation can also help people have transcendental experiences, where they can see and feel things that are beyond their physical senses and mind. These events, which people often call mystical or spiritual awakenings, are based on the idea that reality is much bigger and more linked than we think. Practitioners of quantum meditation can enter states of consciousness that provide clarity, peace, and a deep feeling of oneness with all life. In order to better understand consciousness and reality, quantum meditation and inner exploration provide a potent tool for personal and spiritual development. This way of meditating pushes us to look into the deepest parts of ourselves, which shows us the connection, potential, and creative power that are there. We can become more aware, get past the idea of being different, and realize the deep connection that connects us to the rest of the universe by engaging in quantum meditation. The Future of Humanity and Quantum Ethics. Chapter 6. As we move closer to fully understanding quantum physics, a new area of moral concern comes to the fore, one that combines our deepest science discoveries with the moral compass that guides our actions. Through the view of connection and the deep meanings of our thoughts, actions, and plans, this merger of quantum consciousness and ethics, or quantum ethics, challenges us to reevaluate our duties to one another and the environment. Quantum ethics is based on the idea that every action, no matter how small, can have far-reaching effects because the universe is a highly linked web. Quantum physics is based on the idea that everything is linked to everything else. This idea pushes us to see our moral choices not as separate choices, but as ripples in the seas of existence that affect everything in ways we are only just starting to understand. It tells us that our standard ideas of self and other, humanity and nature, mind and matter being different are just lies, and it urges us to see life in a more complete way. The idea of non-locality is at the heart of quantum ethics. It says that events can be linked in ways that are not bound by how close they are to each other, or by the way time flows in a straight line. When it comes to ethics, this idea means that our moral duty goes beyond our direct surroundings and worries about the present, to include a bigger, more general picture. It asks us to think about how our actions will affect the environment, future generations, and even the universe itself in the long run. It promotes care that recognizes our part in the complex web of life. Also, in quantum physics, the spectator effect shows that purpose and knowledge have the power to change reality. This is the effect that watching something changes it. When it comes to ethics, this concept shows how aware behavior and mindful life can change things. It says that we can all help make the world a better place by matching our actions with ideals like kindness, sensitivity, and sustainability. Because of this, quantum ethics encourages us to think about the moral implications of the decisions we make, understanding that our thoughts, beliefs, and plans have a big impact on how our shared future plays out. Quantum ethics also asks us to broaden our moral horizons and see the worth in all living things in the world, rather than just humans. This broader view of ethics is like the quantum theory of coupling, which says that the fate of each part is connected to the fate of the whole. By recognizing how deeply we are linked to all living things, quantum ethics encourages us to care about and be responsible for the well-being of all living things and the earth. Quantum ethics gives us a way to see the future of humanity and how to live in the complicated world we live in now with knowledge and kindness. It wants a big change from competition and dominance to working together and living together, and from taking advantage of others and being greedy to caring for others and being kind. It's not just a change in ideas. We need to make real changes to how we live, work, and interact with each other and the earth. In light of the connection revealed by quantum physics, quantum ethics offers a deep rethinking of our ethical responsibilities. It asks us to look at our actions through the lens of how everything is linked to everything else, realizing how much our choices change the very structure of reality. Quantum ethics encourages us to live in a more aware, caring, and environmentally friendly way at this important time in history. The idea of a quantum leap for humanity sees a profound change in global consciousness and social structures, paving the way for a future that recognizes the profound connection of all life. This big step requires us to rethink everything we think we know about reality, identity, and how everything is linked. This has big effects on how we deal with the tough problems our world is facing right now. Humanity is on the verge of a new era marked by greater kindness, sustainability, and unity around the world if we accept the lessons provided by quantum physics and incorporate them into the collective consciousness. The realization that everything is linked is one of the most important parts of this quantum leap. Quantum physics has shown that at its most basic level, the universe is a chain of connections, with each particle, being, and action being fully connected to every other. Putting this knowledge into practice in everyday life leads to a shift from independence and competition to unity and the well-being of everyone. Policies, economic systems, and social structures are rethought in this new model to reflect how deeply we are connected to each other. This leads to a more fair sharing of resources and a coordinated effort to deal with world problems like climate change, poverty, and inequality. Recognizing the co-creative power of consciousness is another important aspect of the quantum leap. In quantum physics, the act of observing changes the result. This effect is called the observer effect. It's a metaphor for how our thoughts and beliefs shape our world. Realizing this gives people and groups the power to imagine and bring about positive change, using the strength of shared purpose to bring about social change. It says that we can co-create a future that reflects our ideals of peace, sustainability, and unity if we match our thoughts, feelings, and actions with these goals. The quantum leap for humanity also includes a renewal of understanding and knowledge that combines the best ideas from science, faith, and native cultures. This all-encompassing way of thinking about things acknowledges the limits of a purely materialistic view and creates fresh ways to think about reality, consciousness, and the universe. Putting together different lines of study, we can get a fuller picture of our place in the universe, one that respects how complicated and mysterious life is. This quantum leap has huge effects on how we deal with problems around the world. As people become more aware of how everything is linked, they are better able to stop environmental damage and understand that protecting the natural world is our duty. The ideas behind quantum consciousness can help us come up with new ways to deal with problems like pollution, climate change, and the loss of species. These ideas should be based on care for the Earth and an understanding of how dependent we all are on one another. The quantum leap for humanity also marks the start of a new era of peace and unity between countries. We can end war, separation, and trouble by getting past false limits and seeing how all people are the same. This idea of world unity doesn't get rid of differences. Instead, it welcomes them as a sign of all the different ways life can be. This helps create a world where differences are not obstacles to cooperation, but rather ways to understand each other. This is a very important time in our history, and the quantum leap for humanity gives us a chance to change how we relate to ourselves, to each other, and to the world. It gives us hope in a world that is facing problems that have never been seen before. It suggests that the answers we're looking for might be hidden in the very structure of the universe, just waiting to be found through the lens of quantum consciousness. We are at a crossroads. The decisions we make and the hopes we hold can change the future of people and the Earth, bringing about a time of growth and change that has never been seen before. Quantum Consciousness in Everyday Life, Chapter 7. A way of being that is in line with the ideas of connection, potentiality, and mindful observation is fostered by practical quantum living, which offers a changing method to incorporating the deep lessons of quantum consciousness into our daily lives. This way of thinking isn't just theoretical. It has real-world effects on our choices, relationships, and personal growth. As we become more like quantum awareness, we can handle the challenges of life with more ease, creativity, and happiness, creating a life that aligns with the field's unity and endless possibilities. Using quantum ideas to make daily choices is at the heart of practical quantum life. It's all about making choices that show how everything is linked. This means thinking about how our choices affect other people, and realizing that everything we do affects everything else. The quantum viewpoint tells us to act in ways that are good for everyone, whether that means choosing eco-friendly ways to honor our link with the Earth, or picking actions that encourage kindness and care. The idea of entanglement in quantum physics, which says that objects stay linked across space and time, is a great way to think about how people relate to each other. Quantum life in the real world encourages us to see our interactions as closely linked, going beyond physical limits and surface differences. We can build stronger links that represent the unity and variety of the quantum world if we approach relationships with kindness, openness, and an awareness of how we all depend on each other. Quantum awareness helps with personal growth. In quantum physics, particles live in multiple states until they are noticed. This idea of potentiality is like the endless options we have at any given time. Quantum life in the real world tells us to connect with this field of possibility and welcome growth, change, and becoming our best selves. Being open to the flow of chances and experiences that take us to our desired outcomes and making plans that are in line with our core values and goals are two ways to do this. Mindful observation and the making of reality. The observer effect in quantum physics says that the act of observing changes what happens. This shows how powerful our attention and awareness are. By engaging in mindful observation, we can choose to focus on thoughts, feelings, and deeds that promote wealth, well-being, and happiness. This kind of awareness also affects how we see problems and challenges, seeing them as chances to learn and grow. Living in harmony with the quantum field, because we are all parts of a changing, linked universe, real quantum living asks us to live in harmony with the quantum field. To do this, we need to accept the mystery and wonder of life, be open to the synchronicities and spiritual advice that come up because we are deeply connected to the universe, and feel awe and thankfulness for the complex web of life. Practical quantum living shows us how to apply the life-changing ideas of quantum awareness to every part of our lives. We can make our lives more clear, meaningful, and joyful by living by the principles of connection, potentiality, and mindful observation. Together we can create a world that mirrors the beauty and complexity of the quantum universe. The idea of the ripple effect of quantum awareness shows how small changes in consciousness can have a huge impact on the whole of human experience and on the fabric of global consciousness. People who become more aware of quantum mechanics and accept that their thoughts and actions have the power to create new realities, add to a wave of change that goes beyond their own personal growth. This change affects everyone's consciousness and guides the world toward a better, more peaceful future. The idea behind this ripple effect comes from the quantum principle of entanglement, which says that things that are connected at one point in time or space stay connected across space and time, having huge effects on each other. This means that the mental work that people do to become more aware and live in line with quantum principles does not happen by itself when it comes to human consciousness. Instead, it adds to a field of awareness that affects the general mind and causes bigger changes in society. So the breakthroughs, insights, and changes in understanding that happen in one person become part of a bigger matrix of change that affects others in seen and hidden ways and encourages more people to live in a quantum-aware way. Also, the idea of non-locality in quantum physics, which says that things that happen in one place can instantly change what happens in another, is a great way to think about how the awareness of each person affects the world in a way that is not linear. Kindness, sensitivity, and conscious actions, even if they seem small or unimportant at the time, can have big impacts, building a culture of understanding, empathy, and overall well-being. This shows how important it is for each person to move toward quantum awareness, because it helps the whole world become more conscious. In quantum physics, the spectator effect shows that the act of observing can change what is being watched. This shows the power of group purpose and attention even more. When enough people are focused on goals like peace, sustainability, and unity, this group purpose can change the course of events and move people toward these goals. Several studies have shown that group prayer, meditation, and setting intentions can have a big impact on our reality. This means that our attention as a group can change our reality, making it less violent, more peaceful, and better for the environment. Rupert Sheldrake came up with the idea of morphic resonance, which is part of the spread effect of quantum awareness. This theory says that once patterns of behavior are set, others are more likely to follow them. As people follow the rules of quantum awareness, they create new ways of thinking, acting, and interacting with others. These new ways of thinking, acting, and interacting spread through the group consciousness, making it easier for others to follow the same paths. To make a positive feedback loop, personal change leads to group evolution, and group evolution leads to personal change. When we accept the spread effect of quantum awareness, we understand that each of us has a huge duty and chance to shape the future of all people on Earth. Our own learning, growth, and change trips are not only good for us, they are also important to the bigger picture of human development. We can all take a giant leap toward a future with more awareness, kindness, and unity if we live with purpose, attention, and a strong sense of how everything is linked.